Well, welcome back. On this video, I'm going to show you how to make the best low-carb, keto-friendly cranberry sauce or cranberry relish and not deny yourself this holiday treat. Well, hello, welcome back. So here we are, the holiday season. One of my favorite holiday treats, foods, is cranberry sauce. You know, of course, it's traditional on Thanksgiving and Christmas and I guess other holidays. But it's seasonal, so now is when cranberries are fresh and ready to rock and roll. And this is a fresh recipe, a fresh cranberry recipe. So I'm going to make two. I'm going to make a cranberry relish. This is very dark in color because it has blueberries in it. When I had blueberries in season, I'd bought several quarts and dehydrated them and put them in the freezer. So I found something to use. And then more of a cranberry sauce. You can see the color difference of the two of these. That this is with the blueberries, but the same batch of actual cranberries. And this is keto friendly, except for a little additive to the relish. But otherwise it's pretty good. Now your cranberries are kind of, I hate to use the term because it's overused, the superfood, but they really are. One thing you have to be careful of, they're full of vitamins and minerals, and you can read all about them. There's a lot of good things that cranberries can do for you. But if you're on a blood thinner like warfarin, be careful because it's loaded with vitamin K apparently, and it doesn't go well with that particular kind of blood thinner. So make sure that's something you can eat. So anyway, yeah, that's the long and the short of it. Let's get to the recipe. Let's go to the kitchen. So with this cranberry recipe, I'm going to start with 2 cups of fresh washed cranberries. When you wash them and check them out, make sure that there's no soft ones in there and that there's nothing, you know, funky with holes. Because if they do tend to go a little funky, they really make it taste funky. And then I've got 2 tablespoons of swerve and a half cup of blueberries. The blueberries, probably it works out to be a half to 3/4 of a cup of whole undehydrated blueberries. But dehydrated, they get smaller, depending on the size of the blueberries when you start. And my stick blender. Also, there's a Grand Marnier, which is, if you're not familiar with it, it's an orange flavored liqueur, and it is great in the cranberries. When I used to make this non-keto recipe with half cup of sugar, half cup of honey, and the cranberries, I put in the Grand Marnier. It was pretty amazing, very, very awesome. So what I make this in is the beaker that's from my French press coffee maker. So it comes in real handy. It's microwave safe. Just make sure you take it out of the metal base. Don't put that in the microwave. That would not be smart. People would make fun of you. And so again, make sure that there's nothing in there that's, you know, no cranberries that have holes in them, or, you know, or particularly mushy. You got to make sure that they're very firm. Oh, I run away. They should be almost rock hard. You know, when they're good and fresh and decent. Keep them refrigerated before you need them. So I'm going to use my stick blender, and even though I'm trying to protect the top of it, forgot my blueberries. You know, in the beginning they will jump out until you get some volume going there. You know, on top of it when you start, you know, mushing down in. So it takes a little bit of effort at first, but stick with it. It'll, pardon the pun, it'll get it better as you go. So as you get down towards the bottom, just make sure that you've got them thoroughly mixed and thoroughly blended. I had to take the blender out a couple of times and take the stuff off the top and the sides and get in there, reblend it. But it truly only took a minute to do the whole beaker. Now, if you wanted to make more of this, I've made 2 cups. Works out to be about a cup of this relish, maybe a little less than a cup. Just duplicate the recipe and taste it. I mean, if you wanted to eat it right like that, right now, with it blended, it's just fine. Put a little sweetener in there or whatever you think is right. So while that's in the microwave for about 2 minutes, I've got another batch of whole cranberries. And that is washed and ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to put that right in the microwave. And you got to make sure when you put that in the microwave that you cover it, because the cranberries will explode. And not violently. You pop like popcorn, but you don't want to make a mess of the top of your microwave. So now here's my microwaved relish mixture. So I'm going to put in my sweetener. Now I tend not to add my sweetener before I cook it, because I don't think these artificial sweeteners deal well with high heat. I've heard that before. I find it to be true. I don't know if you have more evidence on that or whatever. Let me know. But I sweeten it after, and particularly maybe after it cools a little bit. And then my 1 teaspoon of Grand Marnier, which is, again, this is optional, but if you have it handy, by all means, it's a good one to put in there. It's pretty tasty. Now the smell of this, it's still warm, was pretty amazing. So I'm going to put this in my little container here so I can do my whole cranberry sauce. But the color of this burgundy is just amazing, and this is really great. Slathered on a piece of turkey, or if you're still eating bread or you've got keto bread, actually put it as a relish in your sandwich. Is pretty amazing. And so here are the whole cranberry sauce that I made. And again, the 2 minutes in the microwave, 2.5 minutes, and the cranberries explode. They burst and they become perfectly mushy. I was thinking about taking the lid off over the sink, but that's fine. And that's just a saucer over the top, just to prevent the splatter. And just a quick stir, and those previously whole, rock-hard cranberries are now just a lovely mush. There's really nothing to them. And so now you can, in this particular recipe, I'm just using Swerve, but you can add the Grand Marnier, you can add the cranberries, the blueberries. You could do with it what you want. Multiply it by however much you think you want to make. Experiment with it. It really doesn't take anything to make. It cooks up real quick. There's really nothing to it. It's super simple, and it's really pleasant. Looks great at the dinner table, and it tastes great. How can you go wrong? So there are my 2 versions of my fresh cranberry sauce. One's a relish, and the other one's more of a traditional whole. My wife doesn't like the whole stuff, but she loves the jelly. I've never bothered to make the jellied version of it that you slice with. I don't get that. I was never a fan of that. But it's always on the Thanksgiving table. And so there is, oh God, that's gorgeous. And then that's the relish, which is, I'd have to say, gourmet, in my humble opinion. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider subscribing, tell a friend. Try the recipe. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Again, I'm not so big a fan of sweets anymore, now that I'm broke my carb addiction. And so I kind of like it tart, but hey, make it whichever way you want. But it's a terrific addition. So if you're living this keto, paleo, low carb lifestyle, and you miss the cranberry sauce, or you just want to finally try cranberry sauce because it's something you can add to it that's really good for you, please do. So consider trying it. And you have a fantastic week. Be safe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.